Said he got 14, page 2. Number 13, now this time we're going to solve by elimination. We need our variables lined up, and we need for one of our variables to drop out when we add them. Well, if we add them like they are, we'll have 9x and negative 10y, which we still have two variables. I'd like to look at LCMs, and the LCM of 6 and 3 is 6, and 12 and 2 is 12. So to me, it's easier to go with the smallest one. So I'm going to make one of these 6x, which this one already is. So I'm just going to rewrite him. I'm just multiplying by 1. And I'm going to take this one and multiply everything by negative 2. And the reason I do that is because it will give me negative 6x, which are opposites of each other, and we'll add out, minus 4y. I have to go all the way across, equals negative 34. So the x's are gone. We have negative 16y is equal to negative 64. Dividing by negative 16, you get y is equal to positive 4. So in this case, let's put the answer back over here. We got the y first, and now we need to find the x. Now these are not as easy to back substitute because they're a little messy. You can go back, take the 4 and put it back here, or even to the one that we rewrote, which the numbers get bigger, so I don't think you necessarily want to do that. The numbers look a bit smaller in the second one, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to do 3x plus 2 times 4 is equal to 17. Doesn't matter, it's where they cross, so you can use either of the lines. So I have 3x plus 8 is equal to 17. Get rid of the 8. 3x is 9. When you divide by 3, you'll get x is equal to 3. And there's the point of intersection for that line, set of lines. Now this one looks a little deceiving because it says determine the slope of the line that contains 3 points, which we know we only have to have 2 points to have a line. But they're telling you that it is a line. And if you were to graph these, they would be right in line with each other, 0, 3, 5, 11, 15, 27. Well, you only have to take 2 of them to find the slope. So you pick the ones that I think are the easiest. And I think the 2 first ones look the easiest because they have the smallest numbers in them. It doesn't matter. You can use these two, or even the first and the last one. It doesn't matter. You will get the same answer. So I'm going to use these 2. And I'm going to start with we subtract the y's on top, so I'm going to start with the 11 and subtract them on top, and the x's on the bottom. Now, if they didn't tell me this was a line, then I would probably need to graph it and see what's going to happen to it, because there would be different slopes. If it was a triangle, you'd have different slopes, but it specifically says it's a line. So pick any 2 of them. It's just like a T-table, and you pick 2 that you want. So we have 8 on top and 5 on the bottom, which is in lowest terms, and that is the slope of that line. You can use any of the 2. Number 15, determine the value or values for which the expression is undefined. A fraction is undefined when the denominator is 0, because you cannot have in a fraction ever, the denominator can never be 0. Well, let's find the denominator. That's x plus 3. And we know that can't be 0. So when we solve for x, we get x cannot be negative 3. Now, if you check it and put it back in, you get negative 15 minus 4, which is negative 19 over 0, which is undefined. So that is the value that won't work if you were making a T-table for that particular expression. Find the least common multiple of 12x, 15x squared, and 20x cubed. Well, I'm going to just do the numbers because it's with variables, it's the most you see. And the most one I see here is x cubed. So let's just do the T-tables of 12, which is 2 times 2 times 3, and 15, which is 3 times 5, and 20, which is 2 times 2 times 5. So we'll make us a table of 2s and 3s and 5s, and I'm just going to draw arrows over. This one has 2 2s, 1 3, and no 5s. No 2s, 1 3, 1 5. 2 2s, no 3s, and 1 5. So the most I see is 2, 1, and 1. So I'm going to come back over here and say the LCM is equal to 2 2s, 1 3, and 1 5, and x cubed. Well, that's 4 times 3, which is 12, and 12 times 5, which is 60 x cubed. If y varies inversely as x and y equals 8 when x is 7, I'm going to pair them up, find x when y is 4. An inverse variation is when the x's go up, the y's go down, or vice versa. So the multiplication is not a proportion, it is simply the product. The first x times the first y equals the second x times the second y. So we know these two. We got 7 times 8 is equal to x times 4. So we got 56 equals 4x. Divide 4 into 56, and we get 14. Now, if you want to check it, just get an idea for what you're saying. If you set it, this is just the checking. If you set up the t-table, you've got x is 7, y is 8. When x is 14, y is 4. And the constant, they had already, we see that it was the product of these two, which had to be 56. So, as this one gets bigger, this one gets smaller. Notice 7 times 8 is 56, and 14 times 4 is 56. So our x would be 14. Find the degree of the polynomial. The degree of a monomial, this is just one term, is the sum of the degrees of the exponents. So I've got a sum of the exponents of the variables. So the degree, I'm just going to put D for that, is 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is an understood, which is 6. Factor this binomial completely, so we need a GCF and the leftovers. Well, the biggest thing that will go into 12 and 14 is 2. And I'm going to go ahead and get my numbers over here. 2 times 6 and 2 times 7. They have two m's alike, which would leave none here and one here. And they have three n's alike, which would leave none here and one here. Number 20, write an equation for a direct variation that includes the point 5, negative 15. To be a direct variation, it has to be a line, and it has to go through the origin. So, to do the equation of a line, you need 2 points. And all you need is the slope, because the y-intercept is going to be 0, and we can just plug that in. Y equals mx plus b. B is going to be 0, because it crosses, it's going to graph. Let's see, 5, negative 15 is going to be down this way, something down here. And so we've got 0, 0, and we need the slope of it. So we've got, I'm going to start with the negative 15 minus 0, put my y's on top, and my x's on the bottom. And I get negative 15 over 5, which is negative 3. So if the slope is negative 3, the equation will be y is equal to negative 3x, and then the y-intercept has to, it looks like a 6, but that's the y-intercept is 0, or you can just write it y equals negative 3x. Those both are the same thing.